Hello, welcome back to Buckle Up. My name is Rob Wilson and this is the brand new Mini John Cooper Works Electric. And today I'm going to find out if it's any good. But before we drive it, let's have a quick look around the outside. So, on this John Cooper Works special, we have some red stripes. We've got a new diffuser here at the front, which is exclusive to the JCW. You will notice that the big Mini grille is mostly blanked in on the electric model because obviously it doesn't need massive grills. We've still got the happy eyes that the Minis have with your daytime running lights around the side or two strakes across the front and some nice red details, obviously John Cooper Works badge as well. But then as we head down the side, we have these exclusive to the John Cooper Works 18-inch alloy wheels. We've got some more red details with these mirror caps. We've got a red roof as well on this version. The door handles are sort of flush, but they open upwards, which is quite nice. And you've got a pillarless door as well. And then on this side, we've also got our charging flap. So you've got your AC and DC points in there. There is a badge on the side of the rear spoiler up here, which says John Cooper Works, but we'll look at that properly here, where you get a better look at just how meaty this spoiler is on the back. It is a chunky boy. Also, we have the Mini badge, Cooper, with the John Cooper Works logo in that sort of black bar across the back. We've got the triangular shaped lights from the standard car, and they're a little bit less Brexity than they used to be, so that's good. We've got some nice sticker work going on here as well to just help differentiate it from the normal car. And then down at the bottom we have this massive black diffuser as well. Really massive. It makes the back of the car just look really squat, like a sumo wrestler. Anyway, let's open up the boot. It is not electronic, and inside we find 210 litres of space. And if I fold down these rear seats, which I can do by pulling on these toggles, then that increases to about 800 litres. But there isn't really any sort of features back in here. There's no tie down points or anything like that. And if I lift up that boot floor, you are greeted by a subwoofer and a bag for your charging cables. So that isn't really usable either. But then again, it is a Mini, so it's never going to be the most practical car in the world. Let's though see if the back seats can fit me. Okay, so in the back seats, and as you can see, I have plenty of room. Just kidding, I haven't moved the seat yet. So this seat is going to come back to my driving position, and for reference, I'm 6'2" or 188 centimeters tall. I've already squashed my toes under the seat, and I'm just seeing how much further I can get it before it clicks. Okay, it's clicked, and I have now lost blood flow to the lower half of my legs. So it's not great in the back if you are tall. In fact, it's terrible. But if you have a shorter driver and if you just have kids in the back or smaller adults, there will be a bit more room. I am going to move this seat forward again though, so I don't pass out while I'm presenting this bit to you. Back here we've got two individual seats. There is no middle seat in the back of a Mini, and in terms of features back here, there is an armrest-ish on this side, same on the other side. There's a little, I want to say like pen holder. It's not really, maybe a phone would sit in there, but it's not proper pocket. And you do have one cup holder here in the center at the back of this central column that goes through from the front of the car. Headroom wise, as you can see, I also don't really fit, despite this being quite boxy. And I actually am sitting without the sunroof interfering in my headroom. So this would be the same even if I didn't have the sunroof option. You do thankfully have ISOFIX on these back seats though, so it's not all doom and gloom, but really I wouldn't want to spend too much time back here as I am. So I'm going to hop up front now and see what's going on there. Okay, so up here I have loads more room, which is welcome. So let's talk about the design in here, because this is quite a design-led car, and I'm pleased to say that they have thrown the kitchen sink at this. We have so many different types of material throughout this cabin. We've got this like weave carpety thing on the door cards, then you've got interesting shapes where the speakers are. This car has Harman Kardon surround tweeter thingies with like a pale gold finish. That weave stuff is across the dashboard as well, and because this is your John Cooper Works, you've got some red checker flag design stuff going on over here. Next to the checker flag you have a strap that is just fastened to the dash. You've also got a strap here as your third spoke on your steering wheel, which is really fat. They're leaning into the BMW sort of wheel design here. It is chunky. On this side we've got the cruise control functions, and on the other side we've got your media functions. There is no gauge cluster here behind the steering wheel because everything is displayed on this heads-up display in front of me. You do have your normal indicator and wiper stalks, but you've also got one paddle behind the steering wheel in this JCW version which says boost on it, and if you pull that you get an extra 20 kilowatts of power for a certain amount of time, which means you can go even faster. So that's very exciting. In the center, we've got this circular screen with your infotainment functions on it. You control your climate stuff through here as well. So there are shortcut buttons for your heated front seats and heated steering wheel. You can also play around with your toggle switches down here, and you can cycle through various different drive modes. Well, they call them experiences. And they all make these noises when you go into them that I don't really understand. You can have a timeless one, which looks like an original Mini's gauge clusters that were all in the center of the car. The other toggles down here are your volume and radio controls and seek and skip buttons. You have a twisty key thing for turning the car on, so you actually have to do that when you start it up. And then you get weird noises coming in through the cabin depending on what mode you're in, so I'll turn that off. And then your other toggle does your park, reverse, neutral and drive functions, and you have a little handbrake button as well. You got a couple of shortcut buttons along here. This one takes you to your driver assisted systems, your drivetrain and chassis controls and charging information. You've also got a shortcut button for your camera system, so we've got a rear camera and front and rear parking sensors, hazard warning light, and your max front heater for your windscreen and your rear heated screen controls there as well. Now, in terms of practicality, we have some door bins which are a fairly okay size. They will fit one of these cans in them quite easily, and then you've got your two cup holders here in the center. You have quite a large storage bin down here, and hidden in there are two USB-Cs, and right at the far end is a 12-volt socket. There's also a wireless charger down there. You have this weird little hatch thing that opens up just for the passenger, and that's not particularly large and it isn't removable, so I'm not sure what the use of that is. If I was wanting to store things, I'd probably choose to do so in the glove box, although that's not the largest either. I do have an armrest in this model as well, and these seats are quite nice as well, nice and grippy, and they've got good bolstering and some interesting pattern work on them. Also worth noting on this front passenger seat is the Isofix mounting points, which means you get 3 Isofix mounting points in this car, making it slightly more practical than quite a lot of family hatchbacks. Interesting to note. But I think what we shall do now is head out on the road and drive it. Right, okay then, so driving the JCW electric. Let's start off by talking about some of the stats associated with this car. So we have 258 PS and 350 Newton meters of torque, which means we can go from 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds and onto a top speed of 124. But how does that compare to the petrol version? Well, the petrol version is slightly slower to 60, that's 6.1, and it has less power at 231 PS, but the petrol one has more torque, 380 Newton meters. So that one can go into a top speed of 155 miles an hour, some 31 miles an hour faster than this. So if you want absolute top speed, you have to go for the petrol one, but really that's not relevant unless you live in Germany. In terms of how the car drives though, because that is important, if I flick this into go-kart mode, and it yahoos at me, this is going to change into JCW mode from July onwards, but it's completely mental. It's crazy. It talks in a really charming old school way, because you know, there's a lot of power going through those front wheels, and this is not a large car. It's actually slightly smaller than the outgoing Mini. So it's still very mini. You have a wheel in each corner and an incredibly short wheelbase, meaning that it is very bouncy in here. If you've never driven a Mini before, that's certainly something you have to get used to. It likes to jiggle about a lot. There is negative camber on these JCW cars, so that helps with turning. However, it also means that the steering wheel is quite lively in my hand. Despite this being an electric setup, there is a little bit of feedback coming through, not as much as if it had been a hydraulic system, but I think we're all past that stage of cars now. So for an electric setup, this is pretty good, and it's quite fun to drive. It also makes weird noises. Right, foot down. Oh my God! This is quite good fun, ladies and gentlemen. When you're just driving around a village, say in the Cotswolds, it is a little bit firm on the old suspension. So if you are looking for a comfortable ride, maybe don't go for something like this. But when we get out onto a more usable road, onto a national speed limit road, oh my goodness me, it makes some fantastically weird electric noises. It really shifts along these back roads. This is where Minis should really be coming alive, on a British B road, and I am pleased to say this one is no exception. Turning is actually quite good. That negative camber helping me out there. You can hear the wind being knocked out of me while I'm presenting, is because it is just jumping along this road. Oh, yes. I'm very pleased with how this is driving. Some horrible potholes. Whee! It sounds like a spaceship. This is fantastic. Woo! What a great little car. I am a Mini owner as well. Not anymore, but I used to have a second-gen BMW Mini, and I also owned an original Rover Mini from the 90s in my younger days, and this hasn't really lost any of that charm. I know that it's electric and it's not making a petrol noise, and I don't have a manual gearbox, but even the petrol flavour of JCW you can buy now doesn't come with a manual, it's automatic only. So I'm not really wanting for anything over that petrol model, really, at the minute, barring the noise. But this is very different to the Abarth, for example, that I've driven. That makes a horrendous racket, but it isn't enjoyable, if that makes sense. It's just in that sweet spot of hot hatch, where it's not stupidly fast, where you immediately breaking the speed limit after you put your foot on the accelerator for 1 second. It's occupying that space where the Golf GTI sort of sits, in the fun zone without losing your license. And I appreciate that. Anyway, that's probably enough clowning around, as much as I want to continue, so I think I will head back now and do a bit of a conclusion. Whee! Okay then, so the Mini John Cooper Works electric, what am I thinking? Well, I think that Mini have managed to capture the essence of what makes Minis great, even with a big old battery inside it. It's still really good fun to drive. I think it looks exciting and just lovely red details. Love all this stuff. I am a child, so this does appeal to me, and I am a bit of a Mini fan, so I was always really going to like it. The electric stuff hasn't put me off though, so there you go. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. Comment down below and let me know if you think that having a battery in a Mini is the devil's work, or if you think it's quite good. Please though, do subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. And if you want to support what we do, you can check out the description down below where we've got links to our merch. You can become a channel member, or you can follow us on all forms of social media. But thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye.